I'm Lewis with City of Palms Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this is
Justin with City of Palms Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So we've already gone down this curriculum. We went over the first stripe, we're working our way down the second stripe, and we've went over controlling positions, we went over how to stay hip to hip, hip to shoulder, knee on belly, and getting to mount, which really mount is a very good dominant position. I love it because you can really get some pressure into your opponent, your training partner, and it really helps you understand the game of how much that changes for you throughout all those positions and what it opens up for. So now we're going to start to get into some submissions from these positions, I should say.
Yes, sir.
There's one that we all do from mount. You can do it from different angles, but I'm going to show you how we, as an academy, we show it here and teach it here, which is from mount. Then I believe I have a way that I like to do what we're going to go over, and then I think Justin has a way that he prefers how he goes over it. So we're going to go through that today, and that submission is the Americana. So we're going to go over the basic Americana from mount right now. So Justin, you mind getting on your back there for us, sir? So you're going to be in mount. They're going to be on the bottom of mount. You're going to have your toes out, toes touching, knees out wide. You're going to have this cross face. And a lot of times they might have their hands here, but if they have their frame up here on your neck, right? Your collarbone, your neck, the other one's right here, and you're trying to get this cross face, and you really can't get that cross face because they're super strong. I like to keep this kind of underhook to where you notice his elbow is trapped. He can't really just suck it back in. So even though he's framing, I'm also trapping his arm with his own pressure, we can say. I stay off the center line as always because he can still bridge and roll during this transition, but I lose the cross face. And what I do is I swivel my arm out like this, my hand, and I swivel my hand going from inside back to outside, and I swivel it back on his wrist. And I like to push it down right across his throat, his face, however it gets down to the ear. And then my hand over here that was framing for me can literally come back in and grab my own wristwatch. Wristwatch, wristwatch, wristwatch. And then I can suck my left arm in, making my elbow touch his rib. My right elbow is touching his ear. And the best way I like to describe this is I can slowly rotate his knuckles on the mat, lifting up with my left hand, rotating his knuckles on the mat, acting like a paintbrush. And you'll get the tap. So again, you're here, you're trying to get this cross face, you're trying to, and you just can't drive your shoulder into him. He's giving you a lot of resistance. I bring this arm up, trying to lock it in so I can do this swivel. I pull out the cross face, I swivel. I don't come out high, because if I come out high and Justin sees it, he can grab it, right? And now we can start trapping, bridging, and rolling. So I like to keep it low, swivel around his neck and face, come up to my own, grab it, and push it to the floor. As I push it to the floor, I bring my left hand in the middle of this little pocket that it makes, grabbing my wristwatch, grabbing his wristwatch. Elbow is already to the ear. I sink back my left elbow to his rib, making it super tight, and I start bridging up with my left arm over his right arm, dragging his knuckles across the floor like a nice little paintbrush, and you get the tap. That is the way Professor Brock, that's the way that we teach everybody here at the academy. As you get through your journey, you start building up other techniques and other ways to be more efficient in this. So this right here, Justin, you mind taking over, showing us what you like to do?
Sure, if you could be on your back, sir.
Yes, sir.
So everything there is actually pretty much the same. We have this underhook here kind of posting out. He's framing up on my neck. I've got a cross face. Again, I also don't like to bring my arm out and away so he can maybe grab it, bridge and roll. Is to swivel my wrist inside, pin his arm to the floor, my elbow to his ear. Everything there is the same. My wrist watch. And the only thing I like to do is sprawl my hip out, almost like we're in a head and arm instead of going straight to knee on belly. And the finish is the same. We make mountains out of our wrists, bring his elbow to his ribs, and like a paintbrush.
Whew. Nice on the shoulders. I like that. I like the sprawl. I like the sprawl on that. Mine is I almost go all the way backwards from where we originally started after you got your takedown or your guard pass, whether it was open guard pass or whatever. I'm almost the complete opposite. Justin, you mind going on your back? It's almost going back several steps. So me, I usually have to grapple the higher calorie athletes. So I like to go to this hip to hip. Again, I always love my cross face. I can walk my hips, get low, and I can go to this hip to shoulder position. And I don't care that he has this cross face because I'm gonna use it eventually. He just doesn't know yet. He just thinks he's making good frames, but I don't need to eliminate this arm yet. My mind is I'm gonna eliminate his left arm. I want that frame. I don't want him to frame. I don't want him to post with it. So I keep my toes actively engaged and I try to stay to this hip to hip to where I can still frame out with my hand or forehead. And what I'll do is once I eliminate this frame with my hip to shoulder and I'm driving my shoulder into his head, keeping him off the center line, I will then give them a slight bit of hope and I will let that frame come back into play with his left hand. Will come back into play to where he's like, yes, I got a frame. In reality, I'm eliminating it again, walking, knee. And what I'm doing is I'm trapping that arm completely. And I'm going to the end of the lever, which is towards his wrist or forearm. I then take my left leg and I will do the same. Keeping my knees out like a butterfly, like this. One foot is over the forearm, the other foot is over the wrist. Really trying to stop him from framing or being able to bridge up as I keep this heavy cross face. Justin, no matter what weight class he is not going to lift me up with his left arm. Now he can move his left arm left and right, and during no-gi you'll be sweaty and you can trap it and play with it. But what this does, it gives me the ability not to worry about that frame. And what I'll do, same thing, pull my hand out from the cross face, roll it around his jaw, neck, and I will come up and grab his wrist, swirling back down, pushing it towards the mat across his face. I'm being really gentle. He's my training partner. I don't want him to run away. Pinning it to the mat, and it automatically, my left hand is already there from having the underhook. Elbow is a little bit away from his ear, but that's easy to fix right now. All I have to do is I'll suck it back in, my left elbow to his rib, right elbow to his ear, and I'm already in a great position. And I just start rotating it back, and you get the tap. Really locking the person down. Thank you, Mr. Justin.
Yes, sir.
So those are the three different ways. The first way is what we teach everybody in class. It's what we teach a lot of the basics in jiu-jitsu, is the first mount, getting the Americana, and then as you develop more in your game, you'll see what works for you. Justin's found that the sprawling, keeping the leg across the hip, sprawling on the right leg works better when he is attacking the individual's right side. For me, I completely stay in side control with the heavy chest to chest, trapping down that arm, and then going for the Americana. Those are the three different ways, and I don't think there's anything else I could add to that. I mean, it's pretty in depth.
No, sir. Everything's great.
All right. Till next time, guys.